Hello students, welcome to third semester English class. Today let us discuss a poem called Digging written by Seamus Heaney. Seamus Heaney is an Irish poet. That means he belongs to Ireland. Ireland is a European country and the capital city of Ireland is Dublin. Many Irish poets won great fame and name in English literature. W.B. Yeats, George Bernard Shaw are some of the famous English poets and playwrights. Seamus Heaney is also a very famous English writer who hailed from Ireland. He is the recipient of Nobel Prize in English Literature or World Literature in 1995. He has a wonderful gift of eye and ear. What is meant by having a gift of the eye and the ear? That means he has a great skill to observe the society around him and also to hear the voices that are around him. He listens to the society around him and he observes the society around him and he tries to inculcate or bring those points into his writings. That is what is meant by wonderful gift of the eye and ear. And he also presents these things in a wonderful manner, in an interesting manner, just as a story. That means his writings represent the way in which we read a story. That's why he is called a great storyteller. The main theme of his poems is recollection of the childhood memories. See, all of us have very fond memories of our childhood. When we grow up and when we recollect the childhood memories, we feel very happy and have a happy feeling of our childhood memories. The small mistakes we have done, the scolding of our parents or other elders, the games, the small problems or trivial things that happened between our friends, all these things are our childhood memories. And when we grow up, when we remember those childhood memories, we feel very happy. And another important theme of the poems of Seamus Heaney is understanding the past. See, we have to understand the past. Why? Because only when we understand the past, we can correct our mistakes and see that such mistakes do not repeat again in the present time and we can build a bright future. That is what is history. History is nothing but understanding the past, using it for the present and building the future. See, if we understand it in a proper manner, we can understand what is the influence of our ancestors or our elders on us. Did they have a good influence? Do they have a good influence on us? Or is their influence good or not? What are our goals in life? For students, you have to decide your goals. How did you choose your goal? Do you have any encouragement from anyone? Do you have any suggestion from others? Or did you choose it on your own? You might have chosen and decided to achieve something in your life. Is your goal the same as your parent or is it different from your parents? See, most of our students are from agricultural background. You choose a goal. Is your goal the same as your parents? Do you wish to achieve or do you wish to follow the footprints of your father and mother and do you want to follow the same profession or do you want to change your profession? So, is your goal same as your father and mother or is it a different goal? These things get reflected in the poems of Seamus Heaney. And the present poem, Digging, is also the same. It also replicates the things that I have mentioned. It tells us about three generations of Seamus Heaney's family. Seamus Heaney tells or discusses the following points in this poem. Before going into the poem, let us just read these points. Literal digging with a pen, digging into the past life, digging to give information when writing, rural life and personal experiences. The importance of work is portrayed instead of naming it his own family. He relates everything he does to his family, considers them in the sense his family, hard, skilled workers. Here is an example from the poem. Now, let us read the poem, have an understanding of it, and come back again to discuss these points. See, between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun. Under my window, a clean rasping sound when the spade sinks into gravelly ground. My father, digging. I look down till his straining rump among the flower beds bends low, comes up 20 years away, stooping in rhythm through potato drills where he was digging. See here, the writer was sitting in his balcony. Between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests, snug as a gun. That means he is ready to write something. He wants to write something with his pen. But there is no movement. He is not getting an idea. Suddenly what happened? Below the window of his balcony, he heard some sound, rasping sound. The sound that is made by a spade when it is sunk into a gravelly ground. You know what is a gravel? Gravel is a soil where we have small stones and all these pebbles, all these things will be mixed. It is not a smooth soil, it is a gravelly soil. And under his window, he heard the sound of someone digging the gravelly soil with a spade. And it was his father who was digging. And the writer looks down to look at his father and where the sound has come from. So when he saw his father working there, who was working very hard. He was bending low, and he suddenly remembers that his father was doing the same work of digging the soil and growing crops. That means doing agriculture from 20 years. He was doing the same work, stooping low, bending low. He was working hard to the potato drills. He was working in the potato fields for the last 20 years. See, the writer was trying to get an idea to move, to write something. And he suddenly gets an idea on how his father was working in the fields. What is the type of physical work that his father was doing for the last 20 years? How he was working, how he was doing physical work for the last 20 years in the potato fields. While he was working, the coarse boot nestled on the lug. The shaft against the inside knee was levered firmly. He rooted out tall tops, buried the bright edge deep to scatter new potatoes that we picked, loving their cool hardness in our hands. See, here the writer was going back and he was recollecting his memories of the time when they collected potatoes from the fields. Their father was working in the potatoes fields, and all that was physical work. A lot of hard work his father used to do. He used to carry the loads, lug on his shoulders, and his knee was levered firmly. He used to position it in a systematic manner. If it is not positioned in systematic manner, the knee will get injured. So he positioned the knee systematically and he used to work. So he used to do a lot of physical work. And Seamus Heaney, to scatter new potatoes that we picked, loving their cool hardness in our hands. That means Seamus Heaney used to go to his father's fields when they were working, and he used to help his parents. By God, the old man could handle a spade just like his old man. See, look at these lines. Suddenly, Seamus Heaney goes back from his father to his grandfather. He was telling that his father was a very skilled man. He could handle the spade. He can use the spade to dig the soil very skillfully, just like his old man. Just like his old man means his father, father's father. That means Seamus Heaney's grandfather. By God, the old man could handle a spade just like his old man. See, they are very, very skilled workers in the fields. My grandfather cut more turf in a day than any other man on Toner's bog. See, he was explaining how skilled his father and grandfather are. First of all, he told the skill work of his father, and now he went back to his grandfather. Grandfather was also a very skilled worker, and he used to work for a lot of time in the fields. He was number one in that area. Once I carried him milk in a bottle, corked sloppily with paper. He straightened up to drink it, then fell to right away. See, one day, Seamus Heaney is explaining to us that one day he carried milk to his grandfather with a paper covering on it. And the grandfather who was working in the fields, he was working bending down in the field. He got up, took the milk, he drank the milk directly, and then fell to right away. He immediately again transformed into the position of bending, and he went into the work. He did not wait. That means that is the commitment they have towards the work. Once I carried him milk in a bottle, corked sloppily with paper. He straightened up to drink it, then fell to right away. He did not wait or he did not stop. He simply drank the milk and again got back to work immediately without waiting or thinking of anybody. Nicking and slicing neatly, heaving swords over his shoulder, going down and down for the good turf. See, digging. He immediately went back to work with all the skill, nicking. He was doing it in a very skillful manner. He was slicing it very neatly. He was heaving swords. He was removing all the sort of things that are obstacles that would stop the seeds from coming up. Over his shoulder, he used to work down on his stuff in the good turf, and he was digging it. The cold smell of potato mold, the squelch and slap of soggy peat, the curt cuts of an edge through living roots awaken in my head, but I have no spade to follow men like them. See, his grandfather used to work in the fields. He used to sow manure. Soggy peat means a type of soil which is very fertile. There his grandfather used to work there. He used to clear the manure throughout the field so that all the areas used to get the same type of manure. So, through living roots awaken in my head. See, that means he is remembering the memories of all the things that his grandfather and father has done. Actually, he wanted to follow the footsteps of his father and grandfather. But I have no spade to follow men like them. So, he wanted to follow the profession, but he has been educated. He came forward, so he has no spade to work or to follow the same profession as they have done. But he also wants to do the same thing in a different way. See, between my finger and my thumb, the squat pen rests. I will dig with it. See, his father and grandfather have dug the soil with the help of a spade, with the help of other implements, tools, agricultural implements, so that a new type of crop will grow, and the produce or the crops that grow up provide food and nutrition to all the people in the country. In the same way, Seamus Heaney is also ready to dig, but he wants to dig with a pen. He wants to dig the history of his father and grandfather, so that the future generations will understand the problems in agriculture, and also the physical labor that was done by the father and grandfather, so that we all can live happily. We can enjoy the food. We are able to enjoy the food just because of the hard work done by the father and people like the father and the grandfather. And this Seamus Heaney wants us to remember the skill work of the father and the grandfather. So he wants to dig it with his pen. That means he wants to make a document of their hard work with the pen, and he wants to keep the memory of the father and grandfather for a longer time. Now let us go back to the points that were mentioned earlier. See, literal digging with the pen. That means he explained to us all the things about the grandfather and the father, but he is unable to follow the same physical profession. But he wants to tell us the actual physical problem that is engaged in agriculture with his writing. That is what we mean by literal digging. He also wants to tell us about the past life. He wants us to understand the problems faced by the people in the past. Understand what is physical work, how hard it is to work in the fields. So he wants to dig with his pen and give information through his writings to all the people in the world. He also wants us to understand the rural life, the problems faced by the farmers, the problems faced by the old people while they are working in the fields. And he gave us a picture of the rural life through his personal experiences. And here another important thing is how important physical work is. Physical work is very important when it is related to agriculture. See, we have to understand the importance of this work. That is why he gives importance to work by giving an example of his family. His work, he relates to his profession. He relates the agricultural work with his literal profession. He is a poet by profession. He is a writer by profession. And he relates the physical digging of his family with the literary work that is being done by him. He also explains to us that how hard and how skilled the father and grandfather are. Here, the father and grandfather does not just represent the family of Seamus Heaney. They represent the agricultural society in the rural areas. And here we can see the picture of a farmer working in the fields, how he is working. And here we can see the potato field, how potato, anyhow in the picture, a machine is, a tractor is tilling the field, and a farmer is collecting potatoes. This poem helps us understand the past, how we should understand the past, and how we should respect the past. And also, we should also try to relive the professions that are from the ancient times. We should respect them. We should understand them in a proper manner. And also understand the generational changes. See, the father was in agriculture, the grandfather was in agriculture, but the son is not able to continue the physical work of agriculture. He has studied, so there was a generational change. But he did not forget his roots. The writer here, Seamus Heaney, did not forget the roots. Though there is a generational change in profession, there is no generational change in understanding the actual problems. So the writer does not forget his roots, where he came from, how his father and grandfather worked hard in the fields so that he can make a living. So he did not forget his roots. He also urges us to remember these things. He did not forget the identity of his family. He came from an agriculture background. He did not forget the identity that he is he belongs to a agricultural family. So what did he do? He wants to dig with his pen. That means write with his pen about the hard work and labor that went into the life of his father and grandfather and gave shape to his life. So he wants to keep up the identity of his agricultural family through his writings. His father and grandfather dug with the help of spade, but the writer wants to use the pen as a spade and wants to spread the or take the cultural background of his family to the future generations. Here are some meanings of the hard words that are in the poem. Please kindly go through them and try to find other meanings or write these words in a own sentences. Thank you.